For the first time, scientists have been able to grow an embryo that is part human, part pig. A new study describes the research effort, which involved injecting a tiny amount of human stem cells into a pig embryo. The team was able to achieve a successful hybrid, often called a chimera from Greek mythology, in 186 of 2,075 experimental embryos implanted into surrogate pigs. In those specimens, about 1 cell in every 10,000 was human.
They used DNA editing tools to delete pig genes corresponding to certain organs like the heart. Then they injected human stem cells into the pig embryos, and the human cells filled the gaps. Researchers are getting better and better at growing these combined embryos, or chimeras. It's teaching them a lot about how our own cells develop and how different drugs work. And it's getting them closer to growing entire human organs for transplant. The human cells in the pig chimeras had started to develop into muscle and organs after 3 or 4 weeks. The researchers could have let it go on longer, but doing that might have had ethics and animal welfare implications that nobody really understands yet. Stem cells are a good choice for this research because they can grow into just about anything, including brain cells. There's a chance, even if it's a slim one, an animal that matures with human cells could end up with altered intelligence.
If you have pigs with partly human brains, you would have animals that might actually have consciousness like a human. It might have human-type needs. We don't really know.
This is one reason why the government doesn't give out funding for chimera research right now.
Animal lovers are outraged again at the death of a dolphin at the hands of selfie takers in Argentina. Argentinian newspaper La Capital reports that on Sunday, January 22nd, on a beach in San Bernardo, a baby dolphin was killed as tourists tried to take pictures with it. There's a YouTube video of the incident showing a group of people around the small marine mammal holding it down and petting it. The dolphin didn't survive. One witness told news station C5N, quote, "They let him die. They could have returned him to the ocean. He was breathing, but everyone started taking photos and touching him, saying he was already dead." Many were quick to point out this wasn't the first time something like this has happened. Back in February 2016, a similar incident happened, also in Argentina, and like this recent time, images of it quickly went viral. You could see people passing the dolphin around, taking photos with it, until the animal died of dehydration.
Bishop Manuel Cruz healing and grateful after suffering the unthinkable. The footage almost too painful to watch, a man walking right up to the altar where Bishop Cruz was saying a prayer, and then sucker punching him right in the mouth in front of the congregation at the Cathedral Basilica of the Sacred Heart in Newark Saturday during a special gathering in honor of Baseball Hall of Famer Roberto Clemente. Police officers and others in the pews rushing to hold down the attacker as others turned to help Bishop Cruz sprawled out on the floor.
I am in pain. I'm a little frightened inside. I'm only a human being, but otherwise I am okay.
The bishop now recovering with 30 stitches in his mouth. His attacker, Charles Miller, who was walked out of the cathedral in handcuffs, now set to face a judge in court later today.
This man who came to the altar is my brother, and I've been praying for him.
The bishop says he suspects that Miller is mentally ill, but in the spirit of forgiveness, Bishop Cruz offered a mass for Miller, praying for him by name. He hopes for this to be an opportunity of teaching about faith and forgiveness.
According to a recent study, the muddying of coastal waters due to climate change may drastically increase levels of neurotoxic mercury in sea life, potentially contaminating world food supplies. Study author Eric Bjorn warns that disruptions in marine ecosystems could shift the balance of microbes at the base of the food web, potentially doubling methylmercury concentrations in zooplankton. Those higher concentrations could easily climb up the food web to fish that are consumed by humans. Bjorn notes that even small amounts of methylmercury can cause birth defects and kidney damage. Since the start of the Industrial Revolution, pollution from human activities such as fossil fuel burning has already tripled the amount of mercury that has settled in the surface ocean.
Chilean authorities say they have never seen anything on this scale. The wildfires across the country are the worst in Chile's modern history. People barely had time to retrieve their belongings as the blaze raced towards their homes.
The center came down to this side. It hit very hard, and all of a sudden, that pot was on fire. It came through very fast. I managed to get 2 dogs, my father, and a horse that my father rode, and we went up there.
The fires have left hundreds homeless and ruined livelihoods. Evacuations have saved residents, but firefighters and police have died.
It's a sad loss for us. We will keep on working until we are ordered to go back to Santiago with our martyr.
Some emergency services say a lack of resources makes their job more difficult.
We are firemen. When houses burn, it hurts us. At this moment, another house is burning, but we don't have any water. How is it possible, if we are in a state of catastrophe, that they don't constantly provide us with water?
Help has come from France, Peru, Mexico, and the U.S. The most visible sign of support arrived Wednesday morning in the form of a Boeing 747 supertanker. It's the world's biggest firefighting plane. Wildfires are not uncommon in Chile's long, hot summers, but this year is worse because of a drought that has lasted nearly a decade. Authorities say dozens of fires are still burning out of control.
According to reports in Japan, Tokyo Electric Power, the operator of the wrecked Fukushima nuclear plant, has found possible nuclear fuel debris below the damaged number 2 reactor. If the findings are confirmed, it would be a significant breakthrough in attempts to clean up the nuclear facility. TEPCO detected a lump of black material directly below the reactor in a camera inspection on Monday morning, but what it is hasn't been confirmed. The company will announce its assessment of the material at a news conference later on Monday. 3 reactors at the Fukushima plant went into meltdown after a magnitude 9 earthquake struck off the coast in March 2011, forcing around 160,000 people to flee their homes.
Truckload after truckload of once edible food is dumped around the world every day. At this waste plant in the south of England alone, 1,000 tonnes arrive every week.
So we take in food waste from all sorts of places, but hotels, restaurants, shops, schools, offices, from their kitchens, prep areas, and also some retail waste as well.
It's estimated a third of the food produced globally is never eaten. In Europe, 88 million tonnes of food is wasted every year. That's equal to 173 kilograms per person. The great tragedy of all this food waste is the thought of the mouths it could have fed. Around 55 million people are in food poverty across Europe, and the amount of food we waste every year could feed them 9 times over.
Iran has reportedly conducted its first ballistic missile test under Donald Trump's presidency. A US official claimed on Monday that the launch occurred a day earlier at a well-known site test outside Semnan, east of Tehran. Speaking on the condition of anonymity, the official noted that the medium-range ballistic missile flew 1,010 kilometers before exploding. He added that the last time this type of missile was test-launched was in July 2016. The launch is an apparent violation of a United Nations Security Council resolution calling upon Iran not to carry out activity related to ballistic missiles.